and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Chairman Marks, if you'd lead us in an invocation.
If you feel so moved to join us, would you bow? Well, Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come here today to do the work for the people of this county, and we simply ask that you bless this work and that we benefit those who we serve. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Around the room, everyone is present. Madam Clerk, if you could just put that everybody's here. We will move now to approval of the agenda. Everybody has the agenda in front of them, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on the approval of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. The agenda is approved. Moving to approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of September 17, 2020 Board of Commissioners meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion. Commissioner Marks.
Support.
Support. Commissioner Garber. Any discussion or corrections on board minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Those minutes are approved. And approval of the bills, Commissioner Plowman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve the invoice edit reports dated 9/18, 9/25, 10/1, 10/9, and 10/16 for a grand total, and this includes wire transfers, ACH, and EFTs, $9,489,909.38, both by batch and wire, and authorize warrants to be drawn from the treasury for the same.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to pay the bills.
Second.
A second. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Chairman Root.
Yes. Bills are approved. This time we'll move to our first opportunity for the public to address the board. They have a 3-minute speaking limit. And if anybody wants to, we have slips over there to sign in to speak. I have one with me, Nicole Ruggiero. Floor is yours.
Would you like me to stand up here or stand here?
Stand there.
I'm here just to address the bombastic comment made by Mrs. Garber yesterday regarding her opponent's alleged family member having a verbal contract from the Shiawassee County Health Department director. I am curious how an ex-girlfriend's cousin is called a considered family member. It felt like a straw man for your expense reports. And when you are referring to Ms. Webster as a Monday quarterback, and you don't want to address the expense vouchers where you clearly are benefiting and going to meetings that you probably don't really have business going to, we can address that. I think our finances are a lot more important than Mr. Bartz's ex-girlfriend's cousin. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? All right. We will start on committee reports, but before we go into committee reports, I just want to address right now that we're not going to have any discussion today. As we discussed yesterday, that it got heated, it got out of control. It's not going to happen again. We've had it enough, it's been in the paper enough. Obviously, individuals have their opinions. But the one thing I will say, because I believe I spoke wrong, Commissioner Webster's payments were, my ad is still higher than what the artist printed, but it's still similar. So I will retract what I said in regards to Marlene sending another one late. I don't understand why they were sent to the artist before they were sent to the board for the finance office, but I don't have any issue with that. But because I was wrong, I admit I'm wrong. And that's the end. We're going to talk about that. It'll go in the, there's a paper. We've all addressed this in the news. We've all addressed it with several representatives from the Independent, the Argus. So we're not having a discussion. It's not coming up on other agenda items. It's done. We'll go to committee reports. Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes, I run the Shiawassee Economic Board, and things are going good there. I didn't make it to senior system board. I had my wife had some appointments, so I couldn't make it.
few things. I-69 corridor hasn't met for a while. Our GL, our Genesee, Shiawassee, Thumb area, GST5 region hasn't met lately. So there's not going to be a report on those. Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec has met here in the fall a couple of times, and we've approved and it's under construction now, a toilet at the Lytle Road Park. Because of the canoers and all the activity on the Shiawassee River this last summer, which was packed, a lot of people had requested that there would be a toilet at Lytle Road. We have facilities in Chi-Town, and we have facilities at Henderson Park. So we approved that, and it's under construction. The roof hasn't, I think the roof hasn't been put on, but the block is up, and it's a pit toilet. Also, the Rotary Club from the city of Durand has offered to facilitate another toilet at the base of Chi-Town Dam, where the river, everybody comes on shore with their canoe or whatever they're using. And we've agreed to that, but that will not be put in this year. That will be put in later spring after the river goes down. So the Parks Board has been very busy this summer, and we expect another busy year next year. Parks were used more this year than they've been used to ever. So we're really tickled about that. Also, the Shiawassee County Road Commission had a very good year. It was a very good year to work on roads. Maybe you've noticed they've been cutting brush along roads here in the fall. But all the road projects were finished, and they anticipate to do everything they had planned for next summer, because revenue stream, even though it's down, they believe they will have enough participation from the townships, along with the monies from the state through road monies, that they'll be able to do most of their work next year, which is good. I think that's their 5th year or 6th year of their 8-year plan, so it's going along very well. But I don't think anything else to report.
Commissioner Garber?
I would like to give a quick update on our county nursing home, Pleasant View. I do attend those meetings, and they have been somewhat difficult. As you might know, they've got some real challenges there. Their director, specifically the director of nursing, going above and beyond to help our residents with their health, to comply with all the regulations that those people, they are employees. Every employee is tested weekly. It's a horrible process. They're working on how they can make that better. The isolation, the calls they get from families, they have really done the best they can do to serve those people in our community. So I will continue to update you as we move forward. And that is all I have.
Commissioner Garber. Commissioner Marks? Commissioner McMaster?
For Michigan Works, Commissioner Plowman addressed that. Our Tri-County Planning Commission I sit on, which is Shiawassee, Genesee, and Lapeer, did not meet in October, they meet in November. That'll be our last meeting of the year. Water Trail Coalition is meeting tonight. I doubt I'll be able to make it though, due to our meeting and our executive session and everything. Midwest Trail Authority, Commissioner Garber and I just came from that from St. John's. Everything is plugging along. I've had some extra meetings. Kind of got the group back together. The City of Owasso, the owner of local bike shop, state representative, and a few other folks. Talk about expansion of the trail, so instead of just ending at 5 points, so the trailhead actually moves into downtown Owasso, so it can hook into the Owasso Perimeter Trail that goes to McCurdy Park, and also hooks into what is the Shiawassee Water Trail Coalition, or Shiawassee Water Trail. So there's some strategies. We have our next meeting after the election. Contact some U.S. senators and some congressmen, bring them in, explain the situation, and try to get the conversation on. The problem all lies with the railroad. It's not based here in Michigan. I believe it's based on the east coast, and this really isn't a priority for them. Obviously, locally, it's a priority to get that trail into the city of Owasso. That's all I have for my 4 meetings.
Thank you, Commissioner McMaster.
So, back up, Planning Commission, we are working on, still working on the master plan, and we're doing it as a so sure because of COVID. The goal was to have everything wrapped up by December. I don't know necessarily that's gonna happen, so I'll probably be part of the final product. But we may end up being like January or February, but, we are working on that.
I serve on the VAAA board, which is a Tri-County Services for the Aging, Jesse Shiawassee here. I am vice president of that board and actually chaired last month's meeting and chairing tomorrow's meeting as well. We're still meeting by Zoom, the offices are still closed and everyone is working from home. The VAAA has received a couple of really nice awards recently. They just do a tremendous job of working on community impact. They got the Envoy Aging Innovations and Achievement Award, which is for community impact and collaboration. They have handed out 14,350 pairs of gloves, 10,750 masks, 1,408 face shields, 838 gowns, 720 hand sanitizers, and there was more, but I won't include that, to seniors and healthcare workers who work with seniors in the Tri-County area. And they are requesting that I be reappointed to their board next year, and I hope to be. And so they've sent a letter that I need to get to you to have signed by November 3rd, I think it is. The Council on Aging Board met yesterday. We're meeting in person now. The centers are still closed to seniors. Because I think it's local direction from the health department is it can only be filled at 20% capacity for a senior center. It's almost impossible to figure out who you would decide that you would serve. And so they are still serving curbside meals at all three of their locations in Morris, Durand, and Owasso in place of their congregate meals, but then they also do meals on wheels, home delivered meals. And yesterday we voted again to extend through the end of the year a 2-hour premium pay for healthcare providers. I also had prepared a statement that I'd like to read over to respect your request not to have discussion. I will ask to talk in public comment at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Now moves into our committee reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move to approve the Public Act 116 Farmland Agreement application with Mr. and Mrs. Scott Miller, all of the properties listed.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Chairman Root?
Yes.
I move to approve the request for amendment to Public Act 116 to allow installation of solar panels on the property for parcels ID 008-02-200-001-01 and 008-02-200-001-02.
Motion?
Second.
Second. Discussion. We'll do another roll call.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen? Chairman Root?
Yes.
I move to approve the bid not to exceed $10,470.50 from Howard's Concrete for the sheriff's parking lot.
Support. Motion support. Discussion on this? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Chairman Root?
Yes.
I move to approve the apportionment report and direct the spread of taxes in terms of millage rates to be spread on taxable value.
Motion on the floor?
Second.
Second. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Chairman Root?
Yes.
I move to approve the 2020 trade assessment as proposed.
Support. Support. Discussion on this? All right. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Okay, and item F,
Probably move to open the public hearing on the ordinance.
yeah, I'll do it at the end of this report. Item F will move again. I move to appoint Sarah Payton as a designated assessor, and as such approve of a local unit per local government agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion on this? All those in favor of appointment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Move to approve the minutes of the October 19, 2020 Economic and Physical Development Committee meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion on the minutes, corrections? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Minutes are approved.
Okay, let's, item F is, what we have here is an approval, the county civil infraction ordinance, and it has to be a public hearing. What we're gonna do right here is that we're going to,
Did you post it? So we'll post it exactly today, it's, everybody knows there's a public hearing on.
You have two of them today. One here, one under, or one under, finance.
We'll set those off to the end.
You do them now and just.
Can we address both?
You can do them both at the same time.
Okay, let's do that. Okay.
The public hearing is for the grant, is it for the CARES money?
One's for CARES and one's for the ordinance.
Okay.
All right, I'll entertain a motion at this time to enter into a public hearing on the civil infraction ordinance
Right, correct.
and our CARES award.
I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a motion from Mark, second, public hearing, to open the public hearing.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're now in the public hearing. If there's any time for the public to address the board on the civil infraction ordinance or on our CARES funding. Is there anything you want to add, Dr. Bucks? Either one.
I would just add that this is the civil, or the municipal civil infraction ordinance is a cleanup ordinance. It takes an old one that the county had previously, corrects the terms in it, and adjusts the rates for violations to clean up areas in the county that have lapsed over time. The second one is for additional CARES money. This is CARES money that both the county can use and local municipalities can apply for to the county to be reimbursed for expenses that they receive for outward facing public engagement activities related to the coronavirus.
Do we have anything at this time? We have nothing, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public
I'll
hearing.
make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second, all in favor of closing the public hearing? Aye.
Aye.
All right, public hearing is closed. And now have a motion in front of you.
I'll move you back to Economic and Fiscal Development Committee meeting, item F. I move to approve the county civil infraction ordinance, set the public hearing. Well, I don't have to set the public hearing. I move the civil infraction ordinance for approval.
Motion
Second.
and a second, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Feldman?
Yes.
Yes.
Now we'll move item F, I believe that's a Finance and Administrative Committee. And I move to approve the CDBG appointments. And authorizing resolution.
I second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Feldman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
And Chairman White?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes your Economic Fiscal Development Committee and the two budget hearings, and then Finance and Administrative. Okay, thank you. I will move to authorize the budget adjustments to the Sheriff's Department.
Second, discussion on them. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Feldman?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
And Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
Move to approve the creation and posting of the Assistant Finance Director position.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion on this. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
No.
Commissioner McMaster?
No.
And Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I move to approve the Shiawassee investment policy as presented.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen? Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Ruth?
Yes.
Sorry. And Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
I move to accept the state grant for the Public Defender's Office and authorize the county coordinator to execute the state grant agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. Commissioner Marks, just keep them coming. All right, any discussion on the Public Defender's Office? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Plummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
And Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I move to approve the acceptance of the preliminary present draft budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, go ahead on this now, or do you want to?
I can talk about it during the report at the end.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
You'll notice we did F. G. I move to accept the MSP award and execute contract agreement for the grant.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion on this. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plummer?
Yes.
And Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I move to approve the register of deeds post for replacement position.
Support.
Motion and support, discussion on this position. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
And Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the October 19th, 2020 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion or corrections on the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say. Minutes are approved.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you, Commissioner Plummer.
Move to Public Safety Reports, Commissioner McMaster.
Mr. Chair, agenda item A, move to approve the 35th Circuit Court contract with Michigan Mental Health Program on amount of $55,800 and Edward Burn Memorial Assistance Grant for Brent Jag on amount of $90,000 and the Swift Insurance Sanctions Probation Program on amount of $1,000 to authorize the board chair to execute the documents.
Motion and support, discussion on this? Roll call vote again.
Chairman McMaster?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Commissioner McMaster?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Plummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
And Chairman Ruth?
Yes.
And item D, move to approve the minutes of the October 20th, 2020 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Motion and support.
That's wrong.
That's not fine.
That's
Public
wrong.
safety.
That's item wrong. So agenda item B, move to approve the minutes of the October 21st, 2020 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion and support. If that's the right date, by the way, finance should have been, finance was the 19th. 20th is the correct date. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say.
That completes my report, Mr. Chair.
All right, without human services, Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. Item A, I would move that we approve the contract between the Shiawassee County Health Department and Shiawassee Health and Wellness for social work services in the maternal infant health program in the amount of $60,000 for a period of November 1st, 2020 to October 31st, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garland,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
Item B, I would move that we approve the contract between the Shiawassee County Health Department and Michigan Primary Care Association for the Perry Public Schools Mental Health Program in the amount of $100,000 for a period of October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
We have a motion and support. Discussion on the motion. Roll call vote again.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen, Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
Item C, I would move that we approve the contract between the Shiawassee County Health Department and the Michigan Primary Care Association for the Durand School Wellness Program in the amount of $150,000 for a period of October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021, and authorize the health director to sign all necessary documents.
We have a motion and a support. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, we'll go another roll call vote.
Commissioner Fellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
and Chairman Ruth.
Yes.
Item D, I would move that we appoint Gary During to the Veterans Board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the appointment. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Appointment passes.
Item E, I would move that we approve the minutes of the October 20th, 2020 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
Motion, support, discussion on minutes, corrections. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Those minutes are approved. All right, we will move to committee of the whole. Commissioner Marks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve the minutes of the October 21st, 2020 Committee of the Whole meeting.
Support.
Motion, support, discussion on minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Marks. Moving to, I'll actually let Dr. Boggs go first. If you would, please.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of things I want to highlight about the budget, both this year and next year. So as it stands currently right now, we have taken in approximately or close to 1.97 million dollars in CARES money, which includes our revenue sharing replacement, the payroll reimbursement replacement, the HEROES money, the CDGB money that you approved tonight, and the MSP money that will be coming in from the prosecutor and the courts and the sheriff's office. So as it stands now, it does look like we will not have to use any of the delinquent tax funds, which, as you remember, you budgeted approximately $1.4 million to fill in the shortfall in the budget. We will not have to use that, at least not at this time as projected. And then moving into the new budget, we have a budget with approximately $17 million in expenses, just slightly over, and we have $17 million in revenue without using any money from the delinquent tax fund. Currently, we are $153,000 over, so we have to remove $153,000 of expenses, but we also have some additional income that we have to balance for and shave off as we move forward to having a final budget to present in November. A couple of things to highlight. We will have a special meeting of the Finance Committee to go over the budget and do a workshop before the next regular scheduled Finance Committee meeting, presentation and adoption in November. So hopefully we will have our budget ready to go by then and everything done. The other thing, do you have any questions on the budget or for this year or next year before I move into the last item? So the last item is with some of the CARES money, we do have to extend it by December 31st. As part of that, both to prepare for additional time working at home, but also to update some of our equipment and capital outlay that we will not have in next year's budget, we are putting together a bid to replace computer technology and go to laptop systems with docking stations. Currently, our bid is around $200,000 for the new equipment. $93,000 of it will come from the MSP CARES money. The other remaining $107,000 will come from the money allocated from the revenue sharing additional CARES money, so that it will all be spent by the time it needs to of December 31st. I'm asking the board for permission to continue placing the order and getting it ready. You will have a formal invoice. However, we will need to place the order soon if we want them delivered by the end of the year so that we can expense them against this particular year. If there's no objection, I'd like to be able to place the order.
I'll make that motion that we place the order.
Motion and support, discussion.
So what happens if they show up like January 3rd? Can we pay for them by December 3rd?
We'll make sure that we will expend the money by December 31st.
All right, anything else? Roll call. Purchase order of laptops with CARES money.
We don't need a 2/3 vote to put this on. Just,
I make a motion, we add this item to the agenda.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor of adding it to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, add it to the agenda for consideration. And then we will roll call vote.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster? Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Feldman?
Yes.
And Chairman Ruble?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. I will go into my report now. I just wanted Dr. Boggs to lead off because he gave us a lot of numbers and he gave us a lot of information that I kind of tried to touch on yesterday. But there are a lot of positives going on in the county. There's a lot of things that if you just read the papers and social media, you wouldn't know what's actually going on. You know, one of the things I wanted to point to was the 4 years of Shiawassee County audit delinquencies. And on the basis of my not responding to email requests for information. I went through the article with our finance director, who happens to do this work. You know, it remains inconclusive at the time of publishing when the board will address the delinquent audit. And I think everybody in here has been sitting here for months discussing that the audit's been late. The audit is late. We're trying to figure out, we're trying to get things working. And obviously this year, you know, we're not going to blame it on all certain individuals, but we also know that COVID was a big factor in, you know, we can throw the blame around all we want, but COVID was a big factor for our vendor that was providing the audit. Regardless, we've talked about that at several meetings. I think every single month somebody's had a question and asked questions on what's the status, what are we doing with the audit, when's the audit going to be done, any progress on the audit. So that was another one that if you read the papers, you'd think we're just sitting here ignoring it. Then it's mentioned that we have a contractor in the county. These issues have cost the county roughly $500,000 paid to an outside accounting firm to clean up the mess. That's not true. There was close to $500,000 paid to a firm that's come in and helped do financial work, financial records. But they also, the large proportion of that was that we had 2 individuals, CPA individuals, working in the office over here, keeping Shiawassee County's financial records moving forward. Had we not had them here, there would have been nothing. Nothing would have been done. So, I mean, to say we just threw away $500,000 to somebody for cleaning up a mess was not even close to accurate. They were actually a hired contracted employee to handle financial matters for the county. And then it suggests that we should be following these discrepancies in our audit, and it suggests that we need stronger in-place internal financial controls. That's been addressed. That was one of the things on our corrective action plan that we wanted to address. Technology was number one. Another service that outside accounting firm provided for us. They went through every department, through every financial process, and they went through and looked at all of our weaknesses and everything that we needed to strengthen. And their very first thing on that list that we've tackled as a board was technology. We had we had computer programs and systems that weren't talking to each other, which made it hard to get the information to the treasurer's office. It made things harder on the treasurer to get the job done. I mean, we have things that has to go to the treasury office, and when they're not even prepared for the treasury's office, how can the treasurer then do the treasurer's job? So I mean, BS&A accounts for those internal controls being put in place. Technology was leg one in that report. It mentions that bank reconciliations were not being done. They keep referring to that and keep going back to that, and it's also hidden in an ad that they believe the Board of Commissioners do bank reconciliations. We do not. That firm and the Treasurer's Office, I mean, we can't forget that the Treasurer's Office has went through a lot of changes, a lot of turnover, and we're also going into new software, new systems. So bank reconciliations are now being done. At the time of this article, as of October 12th, bank reconciliations were being done, and were being done in the Treasurer's Office. As far as bank accounts that are not even under the control of the county treasurer, as of October 12th, those bank accounts there were a few outstanding accounts that were through the courts. The treasurer has her name on every account in this county, and has since had all of these accounts in line, even since the reporting of this article. And then it states that the county will begin to develop and work on written policies related to payment, allowability of cost compensation, travel costs through the County Board of Commissioners approval process, so they are in place before the next audit. We have been working on, I don't know how many policies that Dr. Boggs has brought forward to us since you've been here, that are part of that correction plan. So we keep having these, and I know what this is. This is, you know, the treasurer has a Democrat opponent. The commissioners have Democrat opponents. This paper, because it all ties to it. The writer of the paper is a member of the Democrat Party. And then the same day that this article goes into the paper, there's a full-page ad in the same print of all of these things laid out in this article in the Democrats' full-page ad. Now, obviously, the individual with the paper is working with the Democrat Party to discredit our treasurer, to discredit the Board of Commissioners, to place blame at other people's feet that it doesn't belong at. It even states that our vendor couldn't get through because they couldn't utilize the Bank Secrecy Act system of BSA. We use BSNA, which is an accounting software system. It doesn't have anything to do with the Bank Secrecy Act. That has to do with fraudulent money laundering. It has nothing to do with our software. So I just think, you know, I have all the discrepancies up here that have been found and have been worked on and are continuing to be worked on, which is why we address the finance agenda when we talked about an assistant finance director. We need somebody in here that can assist with this. It's not all the treasurer, it's not the county commissioners, it's not the individuals in the departments that are trying to get their work. Everyone's trying to get their work done. It's right around election time. All this information is a year old. I mean, this is all a year-old information that we could have reported on if we were so concerned about the delinquencies of the audit, and it wasn't just simply what it is an attack on political parties. We could have addressed them a year ago because they've been addressed in the course of a year. So I just caution people that read the papers. That's what you get. You don't actually know both sides of what happens. And I couldn't be reached for comment. You know why I can't be reached for comment? Because this is what gets printed. So I'm not going to print. I'll talk here at the meetings. I'll talk to anybody. I have an email. I have a phone number. I'll talk anytime. And there's several issues that go on, but we're not up here and we're not sitting and placing the blame at any one person's feet. We're all elected to the job, we're all going to do the job. And to be honest, the situation we were in, we've all done a really good job. Everyone included. The bank accounts that we found, the departments that are working through the BS&A changeover, yeah, it's not easy for them, but they're getting used to it and they're picking up on it. And I think once we get this last leg of getting an extra financial help in our office, will really help us. Because then it can hone in on the people that need the help in their offices, that aren't getting stuff timely to the treasurer, that then lag the treasurer. I mean, it's a domino effect. But we keep pointing it at one certain individual. There's a lot more to it. And I just think, to continue to have disinformation, and we know what it is. It's right before an election. We know exactly what it is. But I find it, that should be known that the ad was in there the same day that this story first even comes to light. And I find that to be very dishonest. And it sheds
What
light
about
on
our auditor, how they didn't even start for a couple months late?
Yeah, they didn't. Well, that's what I mentioned with COVID. I mean, we that's another reason why we can't just say it's one individual's person's fault. It's,
Yeah, you never stressed that they couldn't start it for a couple months.
well, I mean, maybe not, but, I mean, that is a good point to add to it. They started late, we were prepping, they started late, but I just want to clear up that it's, we get too much misinformation when all we can simply do is ask a question. If you ask a question, you come in, you talk to our finance director, ask the questions. Nobody's hiding anything, nobody's trying to keep anything from anybody, but to try to suggest that somehow the audit is late because of some kind of partisan play is laughable. As if it had anything to do with a Republican or Democrat. That's why our finances are out of control. But these are the kind of things that continue to hit us. I mean, I know I don't want to bring it up and I'm not going to go into it, but I feel like that's the same thing we dealt with vouchers. We're being hit politically, not being hit with facts. So I just want to stress on that and touch on that. I'm going to touch on one more issue as I did my own fact finding and my own research. We made some accusations yesterday regarding the health department and the contracts. We don't need to go into that further. If we want to, we will discuss that privately. We'll have private meetings with individuals. My understanding of the situation was that it was a month-to-month contract in an emergent need for health, or for cleaning. So we went with a month-to-month. And per our procurement policy that we've all approved, there was a month-to-month. It meets the procurement policy requirements. So, but again, we can have further discussion about this behind, in an executive session because it does involve contractors. It doesn't involve direct employees to the county. So, but I did want to touch on that briefly, and that I don't question any reason why we're talking about it, but I think we need to have those discussions outside of here for the rest of today. And that's all I'm going to discuss, and I will go into the opportunity for the public to address the board with 3 minutes to speak. If anyone has anything,
Ma'am?
you may.
Thank you. Last Wednesday, I met with Finance Chair Baumann to present a proposed policy to be included on this month's finance agenda. I believe we need some clarity around the issue of commissioner compensation and meeting per diems. When I joined the board 2 years ago, I knew we received an annual salary of $10,000. Later, it was communicated to me verbally that we also received per diems, $25 for each committee meeting we attend in this room, even if we aren't serving on that committee, and $45 for the Thursday Board of Commissioner meeting. We get $25 for township meetings, MTA meetings, and in-county board meetings, and $45 for boards to which we are appointed out of county. In fact, we have a sheet that lists those boards. Last December 2019, we voted on a raise for the boards to which we are appointed, raising those per diems to $50 for in-county boards and $65 for out-of-county boards, and for meetings lasting longer than 4 hours. I voted for that raise because the case was made that it's difficult to get citizens to serve on these boards. I felt uncomfortable giving us a raise, but didn't want to vote no on our citizens. Commissioner Root clearly indicated that this motion did not apply to any of the meetings held in this room. Recently, I learned that in addition to those meetings I just described, some commissioners are submitting other types of events for reimbursement. Events such as phone calls, ribbon cuttings, one-on-one meetings with department heads, volunteer events for area nonprofits, other community meetings, admin work, township meetings outside their district, etc. Sometimes commissioners charge $25 for these, sometimes $50, sometimes $65. All of us do all of those things. Not all of us bill the county for them. If all of these events are to be paid per diem, what is the $10,000 to $11,000 annual salary for? It is because of these discrepancies that I believe we need a written policy to create consistency for the entire board and to cap potential cost. My calculations show that if we each received all of those per diems for the approved meetings, plus our annual salary, our compensation package would fall between $15,000 to $17,500, putting Shiawassee County Commissioners at the higher end of comparable county compensation. And so I think in order to cap the cost, we need to have a policy in writing so that we understand that we're all charging the same thing. Perhaps more concerning is the motion we voted on last December as recorded on the meeting agendas, recorded in the minutes, and available to hear on the meeting broadcast is not the same as the resolution signed by Chairman Root following those meetings. We voted to increase in and out of county board appointments effective January 1st, 2020, with a clear understanding that those rates did not apply to the meetings in this room. But the resolution contains a line that says, except that this action shall not apply to the Board of Commissioner meetings until January 1st, 2021. In effect, the board is set to receive yet another raise on January 1st, 2021 in the amount of $170 per month or $2,040 per year, which equates to 12% raise when we just gave ourselves a 3 to 5% raise this past year. My request to vote on those two motions stands that we rescind the pending raise for January 1st, 2021 on the basis it was not voted on by the Board of Commissioners, and that we adopt a written policy that clearly defines what qualifies as a meeting and what does not.
Any other public comment at this time? Mr. Househouse?
We had a financial advisor, we paid somebody thousands and thousands of dollars, and went through all the department heads, and commissioners pay, and whatever went on, and he's an expert. Now we got Marlene Webster, she thinks she's an expert, she's only been here a short time. She thinks she's a expert on everything that goes on in the county, and I think it's completely out of line.
Thank you, Gary.
I don't really want to address it, but I will talk to people afterwards. I understand the idea that we could, if we were to bill on that end, we'd be on the high end. There were counties that make 19, 20 in our wage study, and then there's counties that make 14, 13, 14 with base plus median. So it's hard to really have an accurate, to say that statement. You believe it puts us at the higher end. You don't know what they're billing for meetings. So it's hard to say.
We are going to have discussions, so.
Yeah, it should. It should, because it was real inaccuracies. But we at this time, if there's anyone else, we're going to move into an executive session if there's not another person for public comment. Yes.
Well, you don't know who I am, but. Well, I took exception to you talking about Democrats like that. I think I've already been in that thing. I have nothing to do with that, but I'm telling you what, my job is not being a Democrat or a Republican. It's to serve the people of Shiawassee County, and every one of you should do that too. You know, I mean, and then I get an accusation every day I hire Democratic contractors, which is not true. There's an article that my daughter showed. I don't go on Facebook. That was put on there that's inaccurate. All of them are inaccurate. But I guarantee you there won't be no retraction to that. You should go on and look at it. It's terrible. Mr. Parks gets dragged into everything and he ain't ever come to these meetings. He's done nothing wrong. Yeah, he's worked for the drain office. I got 37 other contractors that work for me. Well, let's stop it. You want to talk about politics between Democrats and Republicans? Stop it. He ain't cut anybody down in this election. He's out sending his flyers. He's out putting signs up.
That's the point I was making.
That's right. Well, that's what he's doing. So why does he keep coming up in here? Don't make no sense.
They got a big political ass and all the things that we did pass.
He didn't do it.
Right
comments from the public?